Okay. All right, meeting come to order. 7:03. If everybody could read the minutes from the last time, please. Do you have any corrections,
Not that I can see.
teacher?
See? No, I can see. If there's a run-on sentence, but I don't care.
So are the minutes from the January 9th meeting?
We didn't meet in
That's
February.
these.
What's that?
We didn't meet in February with.
That's right.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Okay, so motion to accept the minutes from the January 9th meeting.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
second.
Okay.
Here's my agenda.
92 Josh Gray.
I lost
Evening.
How are you?
it. I had one.
Joe Webby with the engineering.
Oh, look, it is right in front of me. I wonder if I can find it.
With me also
Thank
is
you.
Steve DeFrancesco.
But he didn't-
who's
it doesn't say there
representing
about
the
Reese's.
property, and our applicant is Chris Martin. And last time we were before you, we had sent our plans out with Marty Nova. Between Marty Nova and Brad Holmes from ECR, they've been collaborating back and forth, and ultimately we've come up with this plan. The major changes from the last time we were here is the opening of the box culvert has been increased to 14 feet. We've also added areas for the temporary stockpiling, siltation basins, the dewatering, and also the proposed house location that would be beyond the 100 feet. But we're showing that for the purpose of the limited project to access a single-family dwelling. Marty did review the wetlands line, and right in this area, she had found a few more flags that were right up against the existing car path or roadway that was there now. So we've basically taken, we're keeping the old road right to here, and then we're just directing it a little bit so we can get over to the bridge, right in this area, but the roadway from here to here is all, basically it's a hard pack gravel right now. The last letter we got, and I know that Marty had sent it to the commission, was that she suggested that I come here and just basically give you an overview of what we added to the plan. But the big thing in Marty's mind is that we still need a waiver to work within the bank, within your 25 feet. So I think that's kind of where we are.
Okay. I believe the 25 feet comes all the way in on the left, on the right side too, right?
Yeah, this is the 25 foot, yeah, the red line. But this basically is all disturbed right now. This is all disturbed, and the only work we're really doing is from here to here.
Well, you'll be doing utilities and
Yeah, with utilities.
et cetera.
We're gonna be doing, sure. We're gonna be within the 25.
Marty?
I mean, it's real high level overview of the project. I haven't reviewed the latest set of plans, but there was a couple things that needed to be addressed. One was, what would the public benefit be for the issuance of a waiver by the commission? That is your policy to require that there be a public benefit. The other thing is the dewatering. Basically, that stream that comes in to the site and it is quite a stream. There's quite a bit of water that flows in that stream. It's quite wide, and it flows into an inlet on the right-hand side, and then flows, closed drainage system under the neighborhood there. And so during the work, the utilities are going to be quite deep because they're going to be actually installed below the bottom of the culvert. It's a three-sided box culvert, so there's going to have to be quite a bit of cut and trenching there. So there's going to be flow in that stream. So they haven't, maybe they address it in this recent submittal, but they're going to have to control that flow during the construction. And that was a big piece of the information I was looking for. And also the stream bed materials that they're proposing to place on the bottom to recreate basically the stream bed underneath the culvert. I did meet Dave Taylor out there at the site, and he reported that that stream actually overtops its banks, which is, the banks, they're 5 feet above almost the bottom of the stream bed.
I think they're more than that. I think about 8 feet.
A lot of water, and actually, it actually flows, if I can get up.
It flows out on the Moncrief Road.
Yes, it does. So
That's
it-
what I was
it-
looking at
so it
right
comes
there.
in-
That's
it
the
comes
Woozy.
in Here,
It's coming up from there.
so the water comes in and it overtops this bank here and actually flows through this butter's
Mhm.
yard, but also it flows this way.
And flows down that Brooks.
Flows that
Drive.
way. So there's a lot of water in this area, and which was confirmed by Dave Taylor. So.
Mm.
So I think
see. That's
the
what
biggest
that is.
for tonight for the commission is to address the public benefit for the
That's
issuance
not
of the waiver, because
Mm.
they need a waiver from your bylaw to do this project.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Well, are they gonna give us
Oh, there it is.
a benefit, a reason, for us to waive the bylaw that we have?
I would assume so.
Yeah, if I may, Steve is prepared to talk about possible easements in there, and then after that, we can discuss some of the things.
So I've been watching the stream for a long time, for over a year and a half, 2 years. And these were photos I took on February 20th, showing that there was no blockage there
Mhm.
and the level of the water after a rainstorm. And then as I went there today to take another photo,
Mhm.
this is the problem that the neighborhood's having. This drainage is not being cleaned out timely basis. And that's when you get the overflow in the banks because it just can't handle it.
Correct. I saw that the other day.
So
It works better if you see it the right side up.
you gotta give me a little, I don't know much about public benefit. I do on a big project, but on a one house land, I'm not very familiar what you're looking from us to do. But we're willing, there is an easement going between the two houses for the pipe.
Mhm.
But there is no easement, you have to, they have to drive over our property to get to the culvert to service it. And we've been more than willing to give the town an easement so they can go right down the driveway and in, which they've been doing for the last 50 years, since that subdivision been built, to service that.
Which culvert are you referring to?
The one.
The one that's existing or the one
Yeah.
you're installing?
No, this one right here. They're clean, they go in periodically, Dave's got to send them periodically, they clean that. And they don't
I
go
like
through
that.
Dave's yard, they go down that little extension and down our driveway. And right now, there is no easement there to allow those, for the town to clean that basin out. So we would be more than willing to give the town an easement to travel over our land to do that. As well, we would be more than willing to take the responsibility of cleaning that culvert out and engrave that and put that right into the deed that we would be responsible for maintaining that and cleaning up the leaves and sticks to keep that thing flowing. Because it's only in the owner's benefit that owns the property that is maintained and serviced because it'll flood our own yard. So that, to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hoping that would be some type of public benefit. Save Dave Taylor from sending his guys over. It would protect the neighborhood from flooding and going down if someone was there, because the owner of the property is gonna be going by that culvert, 3-4 times a day and be able to assess the problem. And you can see how much, in just 3 weeks, how much debris is collected in that because of that screening. So we would be more than willing to do that and actually make a commitment and put it in the deed that the owner of the property would be responsible for the maintenance of the culvert to make sure it flows properly and doesn't flood the neighborhood out.
Use the new culvert and the existing culvert, which is the drain. 'Cause right now, the town does not have access to that via an easement. They have access to go between 235 and 239 and 255 to go between the 2 yards, but they don't have access to come onto the property, which the actual current drain is on 92R.
Would you do me a favor, please? Deb can't see it. Would you turn that around?
Oh, sure.
All right, and now, get out of the way so I can point it out. All right,
Please.
and shut up. Hey, I work for this place. The guys down there, have you seen those?
No.
Because you sent it down to us, so. All right, now, Deb, in that middle green place that's surrounded by the pink, that's
Yep.
where the stream runs in the open, which is what you could see in those pictures. And then where he just put his finger down at the end,
That's the.
there's
pipe.
the pipe, and that's
Okay.
that takes it then, out.
Okay.
So that's, those pictures that you saw, that's that area
Okay.
that those pictures showed.
If I may, this is a 36-inch diameter pipe, it's a good size pipe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know this is just what we're coming up with.
Yeah.
It's- When we put the bridge in.
And the
Knoxville,
bridge is new, is what you want to build in there,
yeah, we
right,
wanna
too?
build
Yeah.
this here, and that's gonna have a 14-foot wide
Mhm.
open. So-
And that has been increased from the original one that you had before. That was one of the things that you said at the
I
beginning.
think it went from 12 to 14, something, yeah. So ultimately now, this is a 14-foot bridge.
Mm.
Thank you.
So is the actual drainage structure that was installed by the town, the one that keeps on getting clogged up, that's not on, that's on your property?
Yes,
Yeah,
It's actually on your property?
actually on our property, yes. It does have a easement to exist there, but there is no easement to service it, is what we're saying here. So we're willing to give you that.
It looks
Well,
like-
I was out there, I
Yeah,
saw
I
it.
know, but I mean, the piping itself looks like it goes between those two properties on
It does,
Moncrief.
and
Yeah.
and then it
And
goes
it's-
out behind
and
the
so
old
when
candy
when he
store.
gets that, it stops right about there, yeah.
But you come about 10 feet
Funny.
off our property with the actual, where you're looking at that drain, that picture where it was clogged up,
Mhm.
that's 10 feet onto our property, the actual drain. then it goes under the ground and between those two houses.
And then goes under the road, right?
Under the road, to the
Under
other
the
side of
road.
the subdivision, it's along.
Right
Yeah,
over
we
here.
have a lot of water that goes
But you-
everywhere.
You certainly can see the necessity of someone maintaining that, that culvert and keeping it clear, because if you don't, it's gonna back it up, and then you're gonna have the 5 feet of water in there.
Yeah, how about they got 2+ acres of land to absorb the water if you don't do anything?
How far into the 25 feet is the work gonna be?
It'll be
How-
right
That guy
to
built
ground
that.
zero.
It's at it,
It's got ground zero.
oh, hell.
That's what I can't find that on this
It's,
copy.
Yeah,
it's at ground zero, it's at 0 feet.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite, this whole strip here, so the red or the pink is they're 25 foot from the blue.
But where's the level of work?
The whole thing.
It's everything
it's the
from
whole
here to
thing.
here.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's quite a bit of disturbance, but it's all within, this area here is all a roadway now to the right to here. That
Can
you
you
could
guys see
literally
that
drive a
all right?
car to there, if you could get through the gate.
Virginia, can you see that all right? Is that a decent angle for you? Thanks.
So
No.
what we would like to do, obviously, is make that a permanent driveway.
Now, when I was out there, I saw surveying stakes down the center of that driveway. Was that not dividing the property from the homeowners out front?
No, the center lines, that's the center line right now of where this driveway is.
Okay,
And-
so that's the center line of the
and-
driveway, it's not the property line.
No, it's the center line of the driveway.
Okay.
I would like to say one thing about the stream, the intermittent stream diversion during construction. This construction would take no more than 4 or 5 days. And I would suggest that in the order of conditions, you say, okay, do that in the end of August, beginning of September, when the water is the lowest. That's an easy enough thing to do. They're not gonna do that, doing that when the stream is flowing full.
It's flowing
Yeah, but right
flowing
now
full
it's-
right now.
Yeah, right now, it's the wrong time to
Yeah.
do it. to do
But in the
construction.
summertime, it does dry up, it's completely dry in the summertime.
Okay.
Chair, I was out there last summer, and it was quite a bit of water in that stream.
Yeah, I mean, according to Dave, it flows pretty significantly year
It
round.
was
So.
it was a rainy summer, of course.
Right.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys would be willing to wait until
They would
call
have
it the dry season to?
Yeah, they would have to. Yeah. They just can't go out there and make a mess.
That'd be too problematic this time of year.
So my question, the reason I asked that is, if you guys are willing to wait till August or whenever, what was the email about time is of the essence? Who was the one who sent that to me?
So, me, sir, Mr. Chair.
Why is time of the essence if we can wait till August?
We can't, I mean, ultimately, we've been involved with this property now for 2.5 years. And most of the time, that stream is down to a trickle. If there's heavy rains, it's gonna flow, but other than that, there literally is 2 or 3 inches of water in there. We were out there 2 weeks ago, and there was 5 inches of water flowing in the stream, 2 weeks ago. And we've had a pretty rainy February. So it goes down and goes up depending on the rain, not so much on the flow from Harmon or wherever it's coming from. But time is of the essence. It's just a real estate term I use because the fact is we're trying to move it along and we're trying to answer the questions we thought we had. And I told you in a private email that was basically me just making the misstep.
Thank you. So I guess the board needs to decide if an easement to clean the existing culvert is a public benefit. Marty, weren't you concerned about the actual culverts not meeting the performance standards, the new ones? Didn't you? I got your talking points here.
The stream crossing standards?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't meet it at all the first time around, then they proposed something that was close to it, then in my latest, comments, there was a tweak that they needed to make, and they may have done it in this current, plan, which I haven't looked at yet.
Have you made that tweak?
I'm not sure.
I'd have to look back, what it was, but I think, no matter, I think it would meet the stream crossing standards, so I'm not concerned with that
Good.
aspect of the project right now, but I would like to go back to the water control.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a standard specification that they should provide the commission, because if that stream is, starts to flow in the summertime due to heavy rains, which, climate change,
Like last summer.
right? They need to control that water. They need to have a bypass from one side to the other during their construction. It may take 5 days, but it's probably, they have to remove boulders, they have to cut in trenches for utilities, they have to place that box culvert, it's gonna be a project. And if the stream's flowing, they need to divert that flow somehow. So,
Mr. Chair, the only thing that I'd like to tell is also, there's no water access, so there will be a well on the property, so the only thing that's going across the culvert is a sewer connection in that Brook Street paper that they can connect to for sewer.
Mm-hmm.
And the depth of the sewer compared to the depth of a water line is completely different, so it's not gonna be, even though it's still a concern, they're not putting in town water, it's gonna be a private well.
Are you saying the sewer line's gonna be shallower?
Sewer lines don't have to be as deep as the water, I don't know the depth, I'm sure Mr. Webby could tell you, but
Why don't they?
small
That-
line.
That end of Rockland, just so you know, somewhere around 13 feet-ish, just so you know. Not that your line needs to be that deep, but you still need to be below the stream bed, I'm assuming. How would you get below that?
The only way you get below it is go dig below it.
Good answer.
I'm not sure at this stage if we're gonna be a force line, or force main, or gravity, but it's probably gonna be a force main.
they'll have to be dewatering in, for the work.
You're gonna have to de-water it, and by the time you do, and get a quick pipe in there, and then
Okay.
put a sleeve in, and then you put the pipe in the sleeve, and you button
Okay.
it up.
Have you submitted the details for actually doing that to us? Do we have those details of how they're gonna do that?
That was one of my recommendations in my February letter, but I haven't seen the new submittal, I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
sound
don't know if we have it on the plan, but I know that, we had a, doesn't have,
The reason I ask for the details is because sometimes it can turn into a real mess
yes,
trying to do this, and it can grow, and then, what was the amount of bank? 50 feet?
It was over 50 feet. Linear.
Sometimes it can grow into double the project, and you weren't permitted for it, but
25 top of
yet
bank,
it had to be
50
done,
feet
so
top,
it got
100
done
feet
anyway.
top.
And that's kind of what we're trying to, avoid. That's like a ravine in there almost. That's a pretty good drop off. You're gonna need guardrails, you're gonna need,
yeah, I'm not sure if, when it was created, if it was naturally, and they filled both sides, or if they actually dug it out.
it was
Maybe
probably
somebody
dug
has
out
some history.
a long time
Somebody
ago.
probably dug it out.
Yeah.
So at one time, it probably was level.
Right,
I don't know that.
okay.
And somebody dug it out. I assume
Can I
there
ask a
would be
question?
water on this side.
You can ask any question you want.
All right. Who is the guy sitting there with the lady in the striped shirt?
Well, ask him.
My name is Chris Martin.
And who are
His
you?
name is Chris Martin.
Yeah,
He's the actual applicant.
You are the owner of this lovely piece of
I'm
property.
actually I'm the potential owner.
Uh-huh. All right, say your name again, please.
Chris Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N.
It actually is a really nice piece of property, once you
Leave
get
it alone.
beyond this
It's
issue.
over 2 acres of upland.
Yeah.
So as far as the site work, we're gonna be using, a contractor that's approved by the town, Glenn LaPointe. He does a lot of sewer connection in town, so we're using the.
I know him.
Yeah, we all know
Everyone
Glenn.
knows.
But we'll,
No, I don't know him, I know the
You
name.
know the name, but he's been working in
Doesn't.
this town for years, he's been bonded, Dave, and he's on your list to do it, so we are providing a very capable company to do the installation.
Well, he has to be on the list in order
Oh,
to install a
absolutely.
sewer line in Rockland. But
Absolutely, so,
Oh,
Anybody else have any more comments, questions on the board?
Another, if I could say it out loud, with some public benefit, if the commission thinks that they need a little bit more than the easement, and you have some type of pet project someplace else and you need some help with the signage or trees, they would be more than willing to assist in any other little project you may have at some off-site, at some other place, as a mitigation.
Hmm.
That's something that you can think about also.
Anybody else on the board have any other questions?
I have a quick question, just with the cleaning of the drain,
Mm-hmm.
how will that be, is that written into a deed or something, or how is that controlled?
It'll be with their deed, which I have questions on that also, but
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it'd be subject to town council and yourself approving the deed and the wording in the deed and how it's done. I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's something that can be put in the deed and make the owner's responsibility of the land to do it.
my issue only with that is without a bond in place, the house gets sold. I mean, who's to say the new homeowner has the money to maintain it? And who's to say the current homeowner says, I don't have any money to maintain that? It's town drainage, you do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a little bit of a sketchy thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
without a bond in place.
It would be, so could that be something that we can hold in discussion, if that would be something that we would consider? But, just trying to, I mean, I just think it's a logical thing that the persons who land it is, that they are maintaining it, it's to their benefits, it's the neighborhood's benefit, that's all.
I mean, technically, if it's on the owner's property now,
Yep.
technically they should be maintaining it now. It's on private property. Technically, the highway department shouldn't be touching it. We don't touch drainage on private property, and we shouldn't be touching it.
It's been maintained by them. for a while.
Doesn't matter. We
I
shouldn't be
understood.
doing it.
Understood, and that's why we'd be more than happy to commit to that.
So,
And, you know, you have to think about how the enforcement issue of it could be. So, just throwing it out there as a public benefit.
anything else, Deb?
No.
Lorraine, Shelley?
I just think we need more information that Marty's already brought up.
Ron?
No.
Any?
Bothered by the 25-foot.
Well, we have it for a reason. Anybody in the audience have any questions?
Yeah.
And you are?
I'm Kenny Anderson. I represent my son, Scott Anderson, who's in media.
Address?
Yes.
Address?
255 Mill Street.
Thank you.
And the drainage easement runs through his side
Oh.
yard. Next to his house, and his house was flooded in the last year or so.
I heard.
The proposed sewer is going to cross the stream, go up, and then come out in private way out to Moncrief. Is that what the proposed?
It's coming out that paper street. Brooks, is it Brook Street?
Yes.
Well, that section of Brook Street is a private way, and it's never been accepted by the town. So by the derelict fee statute, the owners on each side of that property want the central line of that private way. I would question whether they have rights to install utilities in that section of the way. I don't know what the wording of the easement is, because there is no wording. That is a private way, but it doesn't exist. It's never been accepted by the town.
I mean, I'm not,
There's the right of way right there
Yeah.
that's at the back that comes off of
It's-
Brook Road there.
I mean, what I'm told is a paper street.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this
40
is
feet
the
wide, it's a road.
Conservation Commission,
No,
so
I understand that.
we're
I
not,
was just
you know,
questioning if that
we're not that versed on that, but
I was just questioning if that's where the proposed sewer connection is going to be.
I mean,
Don't know.
this is a single family home. Does this even need to go to planning?
No, that's to go to building.
Probably. It doesn't even need to go to the planning board, so. Duly noted.
Thank you.
The question will be asked. You're saying because it's a paper street that was never developed, is that what you're saying?
It
Doesn't exist.
It's a private way, and the laws in Massachusetts, what they call the derelict fee statute, because it was never developed and never accepted by the town, the ownership reverts to the owners on either side of the property to the center of it.
But Brooks Road is not just that piece, it keeps going, right?
Yes, the other, across the street, on
Yeah.
the other side of Mine Creek, the town has accepted that as a public way.
Okay. I guess that's a question for probably Mr. Taylor and town council.
That sewer shut off that's there already exists within that, paper road.
There's a line in there.
10 feet off the road, the sewer department verified that the connection's okay there, there's just no water.
Okay.
And the road's been paved for the next amount of years, so getting in water would be impossible, so that's why we always see that.
Anybody else? Come on, Mary, you don't have anything? Really? Can't offer us any advice on the paper street deal? Come on,
I do have a question on
I expected more.
the overhead. The overhead electric, in my comment was where it was connecting the two poles, it was kind of skirted through wetland. Is there gonna be any impacts to the bordering vegetated wetland from the overhead wiring, clearing of vegetation?
I think that comes under the utility companies, but I don't know, I would assume that.
No, when it comes to private poles, it doesn't.
Well, the way the poles are, in the, you know, the wire would go straight across one of the corners of the wetland, and I was out there and there's trees there, so,
On the right side coming in?
Yeah, the overhead wires are coming
that was one of my comments, and
How far off the wetland line are the utilities?
well, they're outside of the wetland.
the poles
Pole
are,
here and the pole, we're gonna span this whole span here. So there will be some wires over the wetland, let's say, but we're still having, the poles would be.
Right there,
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chair, just a point of clarification, the actual drainage system was installed on the property by the town of Rockland. It has been maintained by the town of Rockland since it was installed. Dave Taylor has actually commented that he was involved in the installation. So that, when they come off the paper road, what used to be grass is all now gravel.
Mhm.
You open the gate, but the town put up a locked gate to access the property, and the town gravel goes right up to the drainage system that's existing, so they can drive right in.
But that's not on there's no easement in place,
There's no easement.
and it's not on town property?
The easement ends at the property line. They have the access to the gate, which is where the paper road is. But
Right.
as soon as you turn from the gate and come on the property, there's no easement.
Okay.
Even 239 and 255, it's clearly in their deeds in the 1960s. It outlines the easement to get to access the drain, but it doesn't talk about 92R at all. It just talks
So
about
the-
235 and 255.
So the drainage structure was installed how long ago?
Don't know. That's up. Dave Taylor could probably tell you.
Is it roughly new?
It's newer, I don't know. You guys know when they put it in?
Are you telling me the town installed a
Probably in
drainage,
the last 15 years.
are you telling me the town installed a drainage structure on a piece of private property without an easement?
I'm just telling you, my research and the attorney's research of 92R shows no easements on that property.
Well, that's an
except for the
interesting,
40-foot easements that we have.
it's an interesting thing. I never saw a permit on that. I've been on this board for 25 years.
So Dave Taylor, basically, when he was talking to us, commented that he was involved in the installation.
Well, if Dave was involved in the installation, he got voted in 2016-ish.
He might have been on the DPW at the time. I don't know.
No, he got voted on the DPW in 2016-ish. So
This
it's,
thing is about 15 years old?
no, it's more like 10,
Okay, 10 years.
8.
7 years.
Do I have 9?
And we never got a permit for that. We never had anything. Does the board remember anything?
Nope.
Charlene, Lorraine,
No, the other end of Brooks
the
Road is the one I
longevity
remember.
members?
That's us.
Hold on one second, I'll get to Mary. Don't worry about it, I can see her. Longevity members, anybody ever remember a permit for that?
Nope.
Oh, there's another one. Go ahead, Mary.
It's about less than 8 years.
Yeah.
Because Dave hasn't been highway superintendent.
I think 2016.
Yeah.
I think there was an existing drain, but it was failing, so they came in and put a really nice one in.
Failing or not, it still should have had a permit.
Yeah.
I agree with you, sir.
And then there would have been an easement if there was a permit.
You would think so.
No, there would have been, because part of the grant for something like that is the permitting.
But I think, you know, the fact is, the entrance right now where the gate is, highway put a gate in that's actually locked. To get on the property, we have to call Dave Taylor.
Yeah, I know, I had to get a key myself.
So to get on that, you go hard left as soon as you go through the gate. It's all gravel, pass through the 25-foot buffer, completely embedded right up to the drain itself. And I, you know, as a potential owner, we have no problem granting an easement to go from that point versus if, would you like them to drive through your property, sort of 255, would be almost impossible. You get 6 feet on the side. So to truly service that drain that the town owns, that easement would be a huge public benefit. Because if it floods, the people in Long Creek are not gonna be happy.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think I need to talk to Dave Taylor and Town Council. And I'm gonna ask that you would be willing to continue this till our next hearing. Does the board agree with that?
Yeah, would you like us to provide you with a deed abstract? Going back, you know, about 50 years or something, we could certainly look at our deeds to see if there's an easement.
Yes, please. I mean, if a drainage structure was installed on private property without a permit, I don't know what to say. So, with the applicant's approval, I'd like to continue this to, when's our next meeting?
April 9th.
When is it?
April 9th.
Continue this hearing to April 9th, and the board will certainly consider this.
And Mr. Chair, I'll review the latest submission.
That's,
Please
And I'll-
do.
I'll provide a scope and fee.
what the hell is that stupid piece of paper that I had?
Please do. Motion to continue, all in favor?
Who's first, who's second? Anyone?
Oh,
Just
give it to,
people?
We'll see you on the
give
9th.
it to Deb and Charlene.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay. 365 Concord Street. This is just a update for Marty.
Yeah, just an update. I was out there today. They did the cutting, phase 2 cutting, out there. I did send, Matt Dacey an email. They just need to maintain some of the erosion controls. Things look okay. They did submit the,
paperwork?
oh yeah, they
Don't
submitted-
forget your plan.
they submitted
Sorry,
the
Marty.
vernal pool certification
Time
application to National Heritage.
Yep.
They've done that. I did also requested that they submit, to the commission their receipt for the, retainer that they gave, what's the name of the landscaping place? That Bloomin' Place. They're gonna be doing
Oh, is that where they got their
yeah,
plans?
so they're gonna provide, proof that they've given them a $15,000 retainer to do the wetland rectification work and to order the plants, and it will be done, by May.
Something about the wall I read today.
The retaining wall coming into the road on the left-hand side, on the vernal pool side, Kevin Sealing, the contractor, called me up, and he just wanted to confirm that the commission wanted the buffer zone restoration to extend up to the retaining wall once it's constructed. And I looked at the plans, and he was right. The plans didn't show it that way, but I told him that was the intent of what the commission permitted, and that, they need to see the whole length of it up to the retaining wall.
Bless you.
So
Thank you.
It's like a 10-foot strip.
Okay.
So the site itself looks good.
Relatively good, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Before we get into other discussions, good of you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Wetland Commission, I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity. I think my family, we got to know the town better.
Just with the circle?
Yeah.
Yes. I thought that was Sammy.
You look familiar.
Yeah, and I keep trying to remind myself to make sure I come in March, you know, because the amazing team of the town has really helped us so much.
I thought we gave you till May.
Yeah, so I was also advised to come in March to let you all know that I'm still working on it, and my entire family is working on the restoration plan that we put in the work, and to let you know that we are on track.
Very good. I mean, you didn't have to come in March, but that's up to you. We gave you
I
till
just
May.
wanted you all to know that we didn't forget.
Good.
You know, like you give us a taste
I
of
was thinking about him.
you give us a taste of honey, and we like, oh, we just start flying. You know, we don't make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Well, we certainly appreciate the update, and hopefully we'll see you in May.
Absolutely.
Okay? We'll be here. Well, hopefully most of us.
Yeah, you know, and Mr. Chair, if they wanna let me know, you wanna let me know when it's done, I can come by before the
Yeah,
meeting.
please.
Okay.
Yeah, you have my email. If you want to send us an email and just say, hey, you know what, I'm done, I can have Marty inspect before the May meeting, and then it's just really a formality at that point.
Thanks so much, sir.
Work for you?
Thank you.
Okay.
You. Member of the team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Very good.
All right. Spruce Street. Is anybody on the board aware of what happened on Spruce Street
No.
besides me?
Yeah. My neighbor found out.
Your neighbor found out? Mary's not your neighbor.
No, she,
Oh, well, she's not your neighbor.
no, she
Not even close to your neighbor. But anyway.
posted, my neighbor.
The Facebook stuff?
What?
The page, anyway. I'd say probably 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the highway department, on Spruce Street in French's Stream, a couple pieces of granite had fallen off the road. And they sent a contractor down there to pick it up. And then they apparently decided that it was an emergency situation, and they dug up the pipes and modified the bank of the river. And I don't know. You know what? Marty says it better than I do, so why don't you say it?
Well, I mean, the work that occurred without a permit, included, extending one of the, there's two twin 36-inch RCPs out there, and they needed to repair their bells, and there was a crack, so they needed to repair that. But during that repair, they extended one of the pipes, they excavated stream bank, they placed a lot of trap rock on the stream bank, and extended it quite far into what it looks like Southfield Redevelopment Authority's property. They put trap rock in the stream bed itself. So, taking a look at it today, the work that they did, much of it probably wouldn't have qualified for emergency certification process. So, a notice of violation was sent out describing what was done.
You have a copy of that, Marty?
Yes, I do. What was done, what the violation was, and requiring them to file an after-the-fact notice of intent. They'll have to prepare a plan, existing conditions, survey, property lines,
Happy reading.
boundaries, show the extent of the work, where it happened, quantify the impacts to the resource areas, the stream, land underwater, and bank, and then from that we can determine whether or not the project meets performance standards and whether or not they need to restore. And by the looks of it, it looks like they probably placed stone in the area to get the equipment down there. That's just a guess, but they need to come in with a notice of intent and describe what they did and the impacts. And there's a certified vernal pool as you're facing Southfield Redevelopment Authority property. There's a vernal pool on the right-hand side up in the woods. I took a look at it, Mary, today, and what happens is during high rain and a wet spring, it does discharge. And what it does is discharges it through an intermittent stream that actually travels along the Spruce Street for a short segment, maybe 50 feet. So the project and the work that the DPW, the Highway Department did, is not causing the vernal pool to drain, because it always did anyways. But what they did was they cleaned the vegetation along about 50 feet of that intermittent stream. They cleaned it out, I think, just to be able to, for the water to get down to the stream easier. And I think what was happening was it might have been getting up onto the road. So they kind of made a pathway, cleared a little pathway down to the French's Stream. So I don't think they need to do anything right now to address that. It's but obviously when they come in within notice of intent, the commission may decide that they're going to have to restore stream bank, remove trap rock. You know, they have to explain to you why it's needed. So.
Okay. Board have any questions? No? Everybody good? Nobody cares?
Oh,
They're reading.
So, just for purposes of what we're talking about tonight, the highway department is not here and was not invited, so we will limit the discussion on this because they're not here to actually talk about it with us.
So
Defend
are we inviting them to come to our next meeting?
They are
since
gonna
they have
they're
been
gonna
given
file
that?
a notice of intent by April 3rd.
Right.
We gave them 30 or so days,
Uh-huh.
so they
Oh,
will be
from the
seeing
date of
us
this letter?
soon. Yeah.
All right, what's the date on
It
that?
it says in the letter when they have to file.
Oh, I didn't hit that.
So they will be coming to see us either way. So
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind that they're not here to defend themselves, and we're just giving the board an update. I know Mary's going to pounce, so let's keep that in mind, Mary, because they're not here. You'll have plenty of time to have this discussion. But feel free. I'll open the floor because Mary's the one who reported it to me. And yeah, so go ahead, Mary.
I have some new information about the first time the pipe was changed out. Goes back to 2000, and there used to be
That's 25 years ago.
3 15-inch pipes on the south side of Spruce Street, where the town forest is, where there was an outlet.
Yep.
Then the other issue is North Ave and the water coming down, because when you make it bigger, or when you do a three-sided box and open stream bed, that water's gonna gush and go down through the town forest, and it hits that White House. It goes in their backyard, it floods the whole backyard, but they don't get it in their cellar, which is weird. But the north side of North Ave, that culvert wouldn't be able to handle anything more than what it doesn't even handle what it has now. You know what I mean? The faster it comes down, the worse it is.
Yeah, because you got more erosion.
If you open it up, you're opening it up to a lot of water gushing.
I'm just thinking of where it comes across on North Ave. Is that through Leisure Woods? Where on North Ave? Is it down by the town forest? Yeah.
Right, it's right
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
town
yeah,
forest, you'll see a little fence on both sides,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
White House. It's,
And it goes through the golf course, it must, right?
yeah, the golf course is a little farther down.
Yeah.
It floods that out, and the ducks all know when to come.
Yeah.
'Cause it looks like a pond.
And then it goes across West Wadham?
Oh, yeah, sometimes it does. I've lost 2 heating systems to it when I lived there.
So, Mr. Chair, what Mary's talking about is future permitting, future improvements they're talking about.
It needs to be considered.
Well, right, and the way the stream crossing standards work, it's great to be able to open up a stream, but they have to look at downstream impacts
Mhm.
Right.
and upstream impacts. And if there's gonna be downstream impacts, then those are considerations that they'll have to make, so. And there's gonna be a hydrological study done as part
Yeah,
of
that
that
was mentioned
whole
in there.
permitting process that hopefully will determine that three-sided box culverts, not,
Well, it's gonna be free flowing at that point, right?
right.
I would think.
Well, it would be,
Yeah, it would
because
just,
it would be one
it would be,
point two times bankable width, it'd be
Right.
quite wide.
there would be no limit in
Yeah.
amount of water. it would
Right,
take.
yes.
Oh,
So-
yours.
So, it's not, it maybe ecologically, it's a great thing for fish passage and all, but, you know, they have to look at downstream and upstream impacts.
What's the date?
And that's part of the
So,
permitting
that's
process
part
for
of the
something
permitting
like that.
process, yes,
And that's why when a grant's issued, there's money for permitting.
Right.
Proper permitting.
right.
And I actually took a picture of North Ave, water coming to the culvert, and it was at the top. It's just holding everything back. It's 2010 photo. And then the other side is different. So it's crazy.
Well, like I said, we're gonna have this discussion with the highway department and whoever else gets involved as soon as we have our notice in hand. We've already requested it. Of course, I never received a response from
No.
that, which is, you know,
Looks to me like April 16th.
just another
April 15th.
why I didn't receive a response.
This, the notice
And
of
maybe
intent
one more
submission.
issue is the
April
Navy has
15th.
monitoring
April
wells for PFAS,
Well-
not too many feet,
Okay,
maybe a couple of hundred feet.
but it
upstream
is,
for both
there's
the west
31
side of
days
Lake
in
Street and the east
March, so
side.
that would be,
They're gonna
it was
do
dated
that.
on the 7th, and that would
So
be
God only
14
knows what
days
study
left,
that's
plus
gonna bring,
16 to make
because
it
I'm hearing
30.
that
So.
EPA is now
You wanna go with the
gonna
15th? We'll go
declare
with the
it a
15th.
contaminant of concern, so.
I mean, they
Um,
didn't go that far in. They only went.
Actually, GZA was, not GZA, but, Weston and Sampson, they were, they were
Oh,
on.
they were doing sewer, yeah.
Was
across
that
the way,
what
yeah.
that sewer, oh, okay,
This,
Yeah.
is this
What is
the
I
final
think that's
copy
a
for
pump
your wife
station.
to put in?
okay. They were
Yeah,
working.
I
This
gotta
is our
sign it.
final-
Or we have to sign it. Yeah,
I don't know, do we?
yeah. Somebody has to sign it.
I almost thought they were doing. the
I already
work.
sent it to them, but I haven't signed it.
Okay.
I don't even know if it
There's
needs to be
no-
signed. Does it need to
yeah.
be signed?
Well, if you sign it, I'm gonna make copies and I can bring copies to everyone.
Yeah, so we'll sign it.
All right. done.
But I didn't want to sign it without the board knowing about
Having
it.
seen it, and yeah, did other people on the other side get to
Dee-
read that
Dee
letter?
received a
Because
copy.
they're getting all the information from.
You guys want to read this thing?
I think I've got it.
I know you have it. Ron, do you want to read it? I'll see you in 4 hours when you're done. So, anyway, we've all got the gist of the situation.
Yeah.
The highway department will be filing a notice of intent. Of course, I haven't received a response on that, but I'm assuming they will be filing a notice of intent. I did hear from Bob Galvin, which he's technically land use counsel, and he 100% agrees with our position, and he will be giving us full support on this. So I'm assuming that he's having this discussion with the actual town council, Clifford, and Mr. Taylor while we're talking. Motion to sign this letter. I've already sent it, so
So moved.
right now. but
Second,
I'm gonna sign it anyway.
all in favor?
Okay, that's that.
Ginny and Henry.
Reading.
Thank you, Marty. You're gonna make the
Yep,
copies and send
I'm
that?
gonna scan it too.
Okay, thank you.
Email it.
I'll also talk to, Dave about this Dyer Street thing. It's Dyer Street, right? No, it's not Dyer
Josh Gray.
Street. Josh Gray.
Mhm.
By the way, don't we have to talk about Dyer Street?
No, they haven't
Okay.
submitted anything yet.
They're up there digging all of a sudden.
They're
They're
digging?
digging away. They are digging like,
Oh, they're digging?
they were digging
the
all
basin they're
weekend,
supposed
even
to?
on Sunday. I went up and visited him. Josh Gray, this is interesting. Because if the town installed this drainage, they should have gotten an easement if it was properly permitted. So this guy's gonna have a little bit of juice over us now. We installed something on his property and we can't legally maintain it.
Well, who owns the, who's the actual owner? He says he's
Right, he's just
probably gonna
buying
be
it,
the
right?
owner, so there's somebody else that owned it and hasn't come forward to say,
Yeah, well, I don't know who the actual owner is. Shouldn't that be on the NOI?
It's on the NOI, and actually, I can't remember the person's name, but it was, say, John Smith, and Tom Smith signed it, not John Smith. And I've commented on it, and every single comment letter, I'm like, hey, you know,
Who's John Smith?
yeah, so maybe they finally addressed it.
Sounds like a phony
But
baloney to
I'm
me.
not gonna let that one go. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, does the owner of the land really know what's going on?
Yeah, we don't wanna get into owners of land not knowing what notice of
Right.
intents
Right.
entail
Exactly.
anymore.
So
We don't wanna get into
I'm
that.
not letting that go.
We've already been down that road.
That's not the first time, that's the second time I've heard of him going on private property and doing work.
So anyway,
And
Yeah.
not, he had to be told, you're on private property.
This,
so yeah, I'm on that one, so I'm not gonna let that one go.
this,
Ignoring it.
this might honestly push us to waive our 25-foot no disturb. Hope the board realizes that.
Why?
Because, I mean, it's a town structure, it needs to be maintained.
Well, that's just for that one, but the way you said it, it was like we were gonna do away with it completely, and that's
Do away with what?
the 25.
No, just
right.
for this particular deal.
All right.
Would that be
Good,
because of the
according to
easement?
Dave Taylor, if that doesn't get cleaned.
Oh, it floods.
It floods and then in the neighborhood, like surcharges places.
Yeah.
So
So,
we're in flood prevention.
so,
Is that
so,
it?
so this might be our avenue to get an easement and have this guy agree as the homeowner to maintain this and his culvert at the same time. It might be the way to go. I'll talk to Dave and town council and say, hey, you know what, this is what happened, and this is one way to remedy this. I don't know how the other way would be, to be honest with you. I don't know how you would do that.
If you were to get an easement, would the town be able to get in there and take care of it instead of
Yeah.
the homeowner?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
that's what the easement's for.
Yeah.
Okay,
But even though
Rather than-
this guy's agreeing to maintain it, the
right.
town, this is a town-installed, town-owned
I
structure.
understand,
We should have an easement to it,
right.
and we don't apparently.
My only concern would be if it were the homeowners, if it, down the road, 15 years from now, the place is sold 3
That's
times.
what I mean.
Well, that's,
Now, who's gonna,
If the
That's
homeowner doesn't have the money, he can
Right,
just
right.
claim he's broke.
right,
You know,
And
that's
that
the
would
reason I
be-
say a bond.
all right, now I was gonna say, that was also the thing about putting it right in the deed so that any decent real estate attorney would go in and find it right on the deed that it was
But
there.
still, as you know, any homeowner can just say, I don't have the money
Yeah.
to do that.
This is
Right.
true.
That's the reason a bond should be put up for it.
but if it were an easement with the town being able to do it, you wouldn't need that.
Well, if this
Is that
guy's,
right?
first of all, it should be fixed. It should be permitted properly, and an easement it's a town structure.
Right,
This guy didn't put it in.
right,
So, and this guy's certainly not gonna pay if it fails.
right,
He's not gonna pay to fix it.
right.
So
Nor
the town should
he
have an
if the
easement
Town
to it.
did it, right,
But if this guy, we should still have an easement to it, even if this guy agrees to maintain it. Because what if it's an emergency situation?
right.
And we
Right.
need to get in there. I mean, if the whole neighborhood's gonna flood out, and this guy is in Canada, guess what?
But if,
We need to go in there and fix it.
right, but if he owns it and he's maintaining it, are you saying that the town and him will maintain it?
The town should always have an easement to one of their drainage structures,
Okay,
whether they maintain it or not.
okay,
Because technically you can't go on his property.
Technically, it shouldn't have been installed.
right, right,
Proper permitting would have been, an easement would have been put in place, and then it would have been installed. That's proper permitting. When you don't do any permitting, apparently you do whatever you want. We'll just leave it at that.
Deb,
yes.
did you get an answer from Doug about your situation?
Oh, I did.
Yes, she did.
All right.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, so what else we got? We got some bills. I want to get out of here.
Motion to pay the bills.
Pass stuff around.
Second.
Let's get out of here.
Want me to do it, start it?
Mary, it's nice to see you as always.
Should I just?
No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic. Saying it was nice to see you as always.
Just add that to my list.
And why not?
Jesus.
I know.
You might have opened up a whole can of worms.
Oh, I know, and I think I remember hearing about this.
No, I've never been
Someone was
It was.
complaining
Oh,
that
jeez.
negative and how that got
Well,
put in.
I can't begin to tell you.
Well, it still should have been permitted, Mary,
Cleaning up Dodge, I am.
right?
What a lot.
It still should have been permitted.
I know.
I don't wanna hit everyone too hard. I don't let it go, but ideas. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
And while we're doing the bills, 131 and 121 French Road. Apparently there's a neighborly dispute.
A what?
A neighborly dispute
Oh,
is what I'm chalking it.
yeah,
I spent an hour and a half on the phone with this lady from 131. The neighbor wants to take down 3 pine trees that are in 121's, basically in his grass line. And she's apparently brushing up on her Wetlands Protection Act and everything else. And she's saying that, you know, she wasn't notified and this and that. Even though the trees were deemed to be a hazard to the neighbor's house and her house. And the trees are
we're only doing one.
only in the buffer zone, not in any wetlands. So I told her, I said, you know, if the trees aren't stumped and the stumps aren't ground, the trees
Ron?
can be craned out with no issue, as long as there's no heavy equipment. As
Oh.
long as it's deemed by the tree warden that it's endangering the house. So it was deemed by the tree warden there was a danger in the house. I went out there and looked, and they are definitely in danger in the house, probably the house in front of them.
Ron,
And
this one
they
goes
probably
with
should be
that page.
taken down. Well, she wasn't having any of that.
Ron, this goes.
She
with that
called
page.
DEP.
Doesn't
DEP
matter.
called me.
Yep, sure.
I explained to Whitney at DEP the deal, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've seen this a million times." She said, "You know, as long as they were in the buffer zone and not in your 25-foot no disturb, which they were not." She's like, "You know, it's perfectly fine to, if you're gonna issue a negative determination anyway, to not have to require them to go through a process like that for no reason." So anyway, there's a deal. So we'll probably be hearing from her. I forget her name. 131 French Road. We'll probably be hearing from her.
Mrs. Dean, no, that was Forrest.
No, we're gonna be hearing from her. That I can promise you.
All right. Anyway. Goes back to mother.
Good night. Good night.
Have a good night, Mary.
Night.
There'll be more pictures coming.
I'm sure.
Hopefully they'll be in there.
Okay, now I have a question. Earlier I passed out a
I didn't get it.
package when you weren't here.
Yeah.
Carrie got
Yeah.
one here. You can add this one.
I don't really want it.
It's all mine. You can't have them.
Welcome
None
to
of my
the
own.
town of Rockland Conservation Areas.
And I just wanted to ask if everybody was satisfied with the letterhead.
I'm all for it. Looks
We
great.
can use this letterhead for all of our letters. I went to the town clerk's office and
That's much nicer than our current letterhead.
she,
I just made it on the computer.
You just made this?
The other, yeah, we don't have letterhead.
yeah, they make.
But,
their
I mean,
own.
this is nice.
The town clerk gave
It's
me.
got our seal on it and
sent
shit.
me her copy, so I, just.
Yeah.
Cut and paste.
Probably have a-
Yay.
No, I just,
I know.
Can you pass those down, Donna?
Of course.
anyway,
Where's
made
the
a
other one?
department.
Oh,
I
this-
don't know. I already snuck it around.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you.
So did
Sorry.
everybody read the letter?
No.
The-
No.
No, nobody
the
read it.
letter-
Very nice.
You had a whole meeting.
Huh?
Letterhead is nice.
It is
No, I
nice.
had to
Much
be
better than the letterhead we
nasty.
use now, let me tell
I
you.
don't have time to read this. My job is to be
Got that far.
nasty to all the applicants.
I don't have time to read. I don't
Is that
even
the
have
one?
the
That's my
motivation to read
I
this.
thought you, no,
Is that the same thing?
Lorraine, whatever you think, it's okay with me.
We've been through it. We've read
well,
this
yeah,
over.
no, this is.
Is that
but I
the
put
same
this on
one?
the
That's
first
the
page
last
because this is what the applicant will fill out.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
To
said
get the
that,
permit.
I did
To
read
use
that
the
and I said,
conservation.
that's it.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
you
that's
look
the-
here and you
And
go,
then-
That's a
and
permit
this is
piece.
what you can do.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah, and then these are the
I like
rules
that.
and regulations.
Okay, so
Yep.
how is a potential person who wants to do this gonna get this in their hands? How are
I
we
was
gonna
gonna
get
ask
this to
the
them?
town clerk if she wanted to take a couple of copies.
So,
There's nothing else.
so it should have some of these in a folder and be able to hand them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'd be fine.
Hand them out, or maybe the town clerk can have them in her office, I'm in her office, I think.
That's what I
that's-
mean, is
A
she
lot-
could have a
yeah.
folder of them in her office.
And a
Yeah.
lot of people go
That's fine.
online and, you know, cause like where I looked up the, agenda, so there could be a,
I mean, how many of these requests are we
Drop
gonna
thing
get?
there
Aren't
that you
most of
We
these gonna
don't
be for
know.
hunting?
As we grow and we have more, stewardship of
yeah.
conservation
It's too bad George
land.
wasn't here today, because that's the question you could have asked of him of the town forest, cause
Well,
he
I'm
has
going,
things that
no,
they
I'm going to
can.
give him a copy of
Yeah.
this, because he has his own rules for the
Yeah,
town
yeah,
forest.
yeah, that's right.
So
But
can
that
you-
was a nice little thing
No,
that you.
don't
made up
forget,
for him,
George
too.
has nothing to do with town forest anymore. He
No, I knew
retired.
that, yes, he resigned. By the way, who's doing that?
Nobody.
Who's
We don't need
doing it?
anybody to
Nobody-
do it.
Nobody's doing it?
Nobody's doing it.
I guess well, his crew was as old
We
as
gave
he
up on
is.
that. You know what?
I thought he had some.
It's gonna
I don't
flood
know.
out anyway.
It would have been nice, I don't know how many kids are still doing, scouting anymore, because, you know, he used to work with the kids to do stuff. to
All right,
get their
all right,
interest.
so to make this, to make this official,
It is official, she's already
no, but, so
Put her
is she
seal
gonna
on it.
have some copies of this that she can hand out?
She has a copy, but I don't, I have to ask her if she's,
Can she make additional copies?
oh yeah, I have the original right here.
All right, so as long as she's gonna hand them out, and
I
then,
haven't asked her that yet.
well, can you ask her to hand them out, and then what's the next step? Does it come to the board?
Yes, they'll
Yeah.
take this packet, they'll read it, they'll
Send
fill
it
it
to the
out,
board.
they'll come to the board and
Perfect.
state their case and tell us what they wanna do, and
We'll,
that's it.
we'll rubber stamp.
Yeah, well.
And we'll have this, we'll carry this with us each time, so that when they come, we'll go.
I'll just get a
nope.
stamp approved, and we can just pass it around,
Oh.
approved.
Amy,
Stick one on my forehead. All right, anybody got anything else?
My biggest thinking.
Yeah, right then. Motion to adjourn. See ya.
yay, so moved.
Actually, that was really quite.
All in favor?
You did it very
Yep.
well. I tried to-